Hi, Dominique. How are you? Thank you for being a lovely guest speaker on the Cocoon Podcast. What have you been up to?
Oh man, I'm so excited to be here. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna be recording from Sydney. I was like, I had to like Sydney. I am truly blessed. Oh man, there's so many Jills of all trades, but I'm just gonna give you my elevator pitch. So what I do, I provide therapeutic massage services to help executives relieve stress, improve their muscle recovery in 2 hours or less. I've been an award-winning massage practitioner now for nearly 6 years. I'm an author. I'm a journalist. I'm a speaker. I'm originally from the Big Apple, but I'm in the 757 in Virginia, and that's kind of like our 50 states in the United States. So I've been there now 5 years. I never thought a city girl would live in the South, in the country, but I love it. It's not too fast, not too slow, and I'm just looking forward to the conversation that we're going to be having today.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, you're right. That is a big difference between New York City to
Mhm.
Virginia, right? I don't know much about
Yeah.
American geography, but culturally, that like just like in terms of the layout and the values must be pretty different.
I mean, I used to visit Virginia for family
Mm,
vacations but I never thought living. But
mm.
now that I did it, it got me out of my comfort zone. So that's why I'm
Mm.
grateful for Virginia. Because of Virginia, I learned how to drive.
Oh, yes. That is amazing. Actually, yes, because I forget that, like, because I'm in Australia, driving is basically a necessity because we're so big. But yeah,
Mm,
I forget that in New York City and even I guess parts of New York State that driving isn't
yeah.
really an essential with the public
hmm
transport.
Exactly.
Beautiful. So, I'd love for you to talk about your journey of being a licensed massage therapist because when I was doing research on you, there was a quote that I really loved where you mentioned that massage therapy can be a conversation between the hands and the soul, which
Mhm.
really brought joy to my heart. What do you mean by that?
I mean, when each time when the client is on the table and I put my hands on the table, it's like I'm introducing myself to the client. Like I'm introducing who I am. That's why you gotta make sure your heart is right.
Mm.
And one of my massage professors, she said, whatever is going on in your heart, it will be delivered in your hands. So from that point on, I made a vow once I became licensed, I do not bring my personal issues into the room. Unless, I build a repertoire with clients over the years and you can, open a little bit more. But generally, I have stuck to that vow for almost 6 years. So when I put my hands on you, I'm introducing me. I'm introducing who I am. I'm making you feel comfortable. And people get a lot of emotional breakthroughs. You'd be surprised. People deliver the emotional baggage on the table. I promise you, you have relieved people's hips, then they're on the dance floor with massage therapy. So you're enriching their mind, their body, their soul, and their spirit. That's why this line of work, in addition to a scientific skill, because it is a scientific skill, it is known as a healing art. That's why you really have to make sure you really love this field. Basically, massage therapy, long story short, basically with the acronym, it's muscle awareness. You're supporting stress alleviation and generating endurance in your muscles. So, with that being said, when I put my hand on the client on their back, whether I'm actually physically massaging them or I'm warming up their body, I'm having a nonverbal conversation with them. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel that's just a really beautiful, very poetic, and also very real, like, and also just so real, right? Because that's the difference between, I guess, a really healing experience and a really, I guess, negative experience is that relationship that the massage therapist has with how they respect and treat the body, which I feel is just so important for trauma survivors like us when it comes to consent
Yes.
and touch, right? How do you feel about that?
Yes. Oh man, I was tested when I first became licensed. I was fresh out of school. I had a trauma survivor. She was raped and domestic violence survivor, and she was trembling on the table like 10 minutes into the session when I just touched her and I just checked in. And I said, "Are you okay?" She was fine. And then I felt like she was trembling. And again, I said, "Do you want me to still proceed with the session?" Because I said we could terminate the session if it's too much. No. So I said, "Okay, this is the stuff they don't teach you in school." And I'm so glad my professors told me this. Sometimes you're going to have to think outside of your scientific academic knowledge and put your people hat on. So what I did was I maybe put like a few drops of peppermint and lavender in
Hmm.
the bottle. Told her to take a slow breath, maybe about 4 times. And she fell asleep on the table within 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Oh, wow. God, that's just
Hmm.
so, oh, that really makes my heart all woozy
Yes.
inside. So, so just moving forward, why did you and your career choose massage therapy, and why do you feel that it is so important for us survivors of trauma, especially sexual trauma?
I um I didn't choose massage therapy. Massage therapy chose me. I always knew the craftsmanship of my hands from my mother, my grandmother. From my when I was a toddler, I overcame pediatric trigger thumbs. So
Mm.
what that means is my thumbs were born bent.
Oh, I've never heard of
Yeah.
that before.
So if you look at the thumb, it doesn't have an arch.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. I've never heard of that before. That's
Yes, it's called
insane.
pediatric trigger thumbs. That's what it's called. So I was born that way, and then we found out that my biological father, the lineage, we had a Carson family that
Mhm.
their thumbs were born bent. So long story short, a veteran orthopedic doctor fixed my thumbs. My mom was like 2 years old. We did the surgery, and they told my mother most toddlers cry, but your daughter did not cry. She did like a flinch. She was ready, and they said, "Oh, you have to give her his Tylenol." And they told my mother that I was going to have strong hands from that surgery.
Oh, that's like almost spiritual, isn't it? Right.
Yeah, so that's the first part. The second part of why I decided to do massage therapy. I was a teenager at this point. I was about 17. My mother took my brother and I to a spa called Serenity in Manhattan because my mom has been getting massages for years.
Mm.
And she gave us an opportunity to try it. She wanted to do something different, and it was a great way to introduce us to self-care, especially my brother being a quarterback at the time at his high school. I fell in love with it. My adrenaline, I had this high level of euphoria, and I was like, okay, I could do this. But I never thought that I was going to be the provider. And then my grandmother, my beloved grandmother, Eloise Estelle Grant, the late Eloise Estelle Grant, I massaged her. And that's when she told me I was going to have another career using my hands and they're going to help people.
Oh, wow. That's like so spiritual. It seems like that it
Mhm.
really is a gift from God and the high universe that this
Yes,
was just like such an important moment for you to have.
it
And
was.
so, as a massage therapist yourself, what do you feel when you are massaging and providing this type of healing to your clients, especially if they're like a trauma survivor?
It fits my mission. It's like I'm facilitating people's lives with my hands and my words. The
Hmm.
hands because of the actual massage therapy, and my words, whether it's written, whether I'm verbally presenting information to you. So I'm actually doing that. And you'd be surprised when clients feel more comfortable with you and you have a stronger and regular clientele. You meet other people that have trauma experiences, whether it's sexual, physical. Yes, I just wrote an article for a health magazine I write for. We call it somato-emotional release because soma means body in Greek. And I had a client had an emotional release on the table. She had a lot of she was dealing with a lot of stuff and injuries from her car accident. And she had an emotional breakthrough on the table. She never had that before.
Wow.
She had it in physical therapy first, and then she had it in massage therapy all in one day.
I've never heard of that before. So, what does an emotional
Mhm.
breakthrough look like on the table? How do you know as a client if you're experiencing something that important?
The way that their body responds to your touch, their body language. There may be some tears, it may be some laughter, it may be some screaming. For her, it was tears.
So tears, laughter, um,
Screaming,
screaming is another one too.
yes, screaming, riveting on the table more than usual, squirming on the table. It's not about how the client feels, it's about what you're watching the client do on the table as you're performing the touch. And in that day, because she did a lot of PT, it was intense. So I modified the pressure for her already. So I was already doing a lot of breath work. I was doing a lot of compression on her legs and her back, and she had an emotional breakthrough.
Wow,
And
I've
she and
never
she's and
heard of
she's
that.
already in this client, and she's a
Mm.
vet. She's also a vet, and she's very skeptical who touches her. So I'm grateful and blessed that she felt more vulnerable with me to be a part of that journey with her.
Yeah, I mean, and you're right. Like that massage client is so important relationship, right? How do you establish
Yes,
that with clients, especially from the beginning when like especially if it's like a first timer client?
that's a good question. So you kind of know, um they don't know, they're unsure what to expect during the massage, or the type of questions. They're like, no, I never had this before, I was referred, I'm kind of nervous. Sometimes you see it on the
Mm,
face, and then it's about your presence and your aura making them feel comfortable. Hey, oh my gosh, I promise you, that's how I got started. Once you
mm,
get a massage, I promise you 90% of the time you're always going to come back and get another one.
mm,
And that is the case. That's how I got started. My first massage experience. And you just make them feel comfortable. You just say, you know what, since this is your first massage, you tell them what to do. You tell them how
mm.
to get undressed on the table, how they should be on the table. Anything makes them feel comfortable, let you know, and you just modify it to their liking. And you just keep checking in with them. And how can I put this? First time massage therapy, you know how you open that good candy wrapper for the first time and you unravel it and you put it in your mouth? That's how massage therapy is like. You taste a delicious strawberry candy that we used to have back in the day. It used to come in a green and red wrapping. These
Mhm,
strawberry candies. Never knew the name of them. It was just strawberry candies, and a lot of grandparents used to have this in their house. It's like one of those candies, and you open it for the first time, and oh my gosh, like the juices from the strawberry candy. That's how massage therapy is to a lot of people for the first time. That's how it was for me.
I've never affiliated it with, yeah, like candy or opening lollies, but you're right. Like once you have that somatic release, it
Hmm.
almost feels like a treat to yourself, like a reward,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So,
it's a magnetic high.
yeah, yeah, it is a magnetic high. So, for so just for I guess a general question overall, I know this is probably a really basic one, but what are the benefits of massage therapy? Why, like if you had to, I guess, convince or entice a survivor to at least try a massage one time, what would you say to them?
I would say just, okay, scientifically, you know about circulation, we know about boosting energy, immunity, all of that
Mm,
stuff. It's good for your nervous system. That's the biggest pitch I would say. It will help you regulate your nervous system.
mm,
It will reduce your chances of being in a very fight or flight response to touch. And that's going back to the job of the massage therapist, making them feel comfortable and putting in a wording that makes sense to a therapist. I mean, to a therapist client, or any, or even, I would say even a 10-year-old.
mm,
Put the wording and it makes sense to a 10-year-old that can understand what you're trying to say. It's good for I was like, it's good for your blood. We help you get oxygenated blood back into your body. But on an emotional note, it gives people a lot of mental clarity, and it reduces a lot of people's stress, anxiety, and depression as more you get in tune with it. And there's different forms of massage. And then I always encourage clients to customize it to their liking, whether they want to get cupping, whether they want to get hot stones, whether they want to get salt stones, whether they want to get like a grassing technique where we take like an instrument assistant kind of thing, and like it's called guasha. That's the modality, and we help you with
Oh yeah,
that.
I know
Yeah, so
guasha. I use it.
you can customize it to your liking. And I always tell my people, because I also do lymphatic drainage, dry brushing. And if you really don't like pressure, I think for somebody that has endured a lot of like sexual abuse, I will always encourage people to get lymphatic drainage because it's
Yeah.
so heavy. It's not even, it doesn't have a lot of pressure, and it's light and it's gentle, and it has a lot of benefits. Lymphatic
Yeah.
drainage, not just for people that just have surgeries and diseases and injuries. It helps a lot of people with trauma survivors too, lymphatic drainage massage.
Yes, and I think also most importantly is that with massage, because I know this is a discrepancy that a lot of like maybe like first time clients who are a little bit insecure or cautious, that
Hmm.
you don't, it doesn't have to be like, you can do it over clothes. It doesn't have to be
Yes.
a full skin to skin body
Hmm.
massage, and you still get the benefits of it.
Yes. You can get this one called shiatsu. Shiatsu means finger pressure in Japanese. People get that. I'm also studying, I'm about to study cranial sacral therapy. That's a massage modality where you keep your clothes on.
Mm.
And it doesn't a lot of pressure. And I got a little bit emotional tonight before I got on the call because that was a modality my uncle wanted me to get into to protect my heart, protect my peace, and most important, oh my God, I'm getting emotional, to protect my hands and to think about my hands 5, 10 years from now.
Mm.
He was telling me this when I was a novice. Yeah. So I finally went through with it after nearly being 6 years. So I'm studying to get my cranial sacral therapy, not just a certification, but also to be a coach.
Oh wow, I'm so happy for you. I'm so
Thank
glad that
you.
you made that step. And yeah, I just love that you've also had so much inspiration around you. And I feel that's also a part of your purpose, at least when I did your research, that you also want to kind of be like another type of version of your uncle, and also provide that inspiration and that mentorship to other, you know, massage
Yes.
therapists who are
Yes.
maybe just starting out. So
Mhm.
for anyone that is interested in like practicing massage therapy, what advice would you have for them about what they should be thinking about with that type of career?
I would say be open, be willing to learn. In addition to the massage aspect, please understand the sciences. It's a lot of ologies. This is not just rubbing and netting. That's why we refrain from people to call us masseuse, because such massage therapists and practitioners, such as myself, we have worked hard to get these licensing and the certification. And like I said, there's a lot of ologies. We deal with psychology, we deal with sociology, we deal with kinesiology, the study of movement, myology, the study of the muscles. We also deal with pathology, the study of diseases, anatomy and physiology. I can go on and on and on. And the study does not stop when you become licensed. This is a field that requires CEUs to keep your
Mm,
license active. But as a therapist, you want to study because the field is constantly changing and it's evolving.
mm,
And then make sure this is something you really want to do. I love what I do, but I have days when I'm tired, when I have to sit in my car and decompress the day. And honestly, that's why I love longer sessions. I'd rather have 2 hour sessions and then like 60-minute sessions because that's 6 people I have to see. I'd
mm,
rather have the longer sessions because that's less people I have to see and less energy I have to put into, because I love what I do, but it's a lot of energy because it's a very vulnerable profession. It's like a touch to touch contact with all different kinds of people, nationalities, faiths, walks of life, etc., etc.
yes, exactly. And I feel like the disparage between what you mentioned, the difference between a masseuse and a massage therapist, is so important, right? Because I'm not sure how to rephrase this properly, but I feel like there are a lot of maybe negative stereotypes with the massage industry that people get
Yes.
affiliated with. And so I think
Yes.
that some people do become really cautious about that when, like, as a trauma survivor, when we're seeking out a massage therapist place. What are the green flags we should be looking for that this is going to be a genuine healing experience?
You have to read the room. Is it neat? Is it clean? If it's a parlor, you already know that type of energy. This is not it. Lastly, just the knowledge of the massage therapist and the comfortability of the massage therapist. When I come in there, I am the massage practitioner. I am not Dominique, your friend, your homegirl. No, I'm in my lane. And you will see that the minute I step into the room, my verbiage changed. Back at home in New York, we call it code switching because I have to show you that I'm a professional. I have been tested twice in my career where I would ask for a happy ending. And you know what I do? I shut it down. I don't even entertain. I say, you know what you can kindly do for me? You can kindly end this session. You can kindly remove your belongings and leave my treatment room. And the guy was like, no, 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 no. I'm just playing. No, and I'm not playing. And I'm gonna ask you again to remove your belongings and leave the treatment room. Then another time, I had a guy put $200 on the table for sexual acts. And I said, yes. I was fresh out of school. I was fresh out of school. And I couldn't believe it.
I can't believe it listening to you. I mean, I'm not surprised, but it's just seriously
And
like,
it was an executive. It was a Wall Street executive.
oh, okay. We know what those type
And
of
I
guys
was
are like.
like, I was like, no, thank you. And I said, you know what you can do? This session is over and you can kind of leave. And I said, you can put your $200 back in your pocket.
Yes. And wow, I'm just reeling from that. I'm like frustrated for you. That must have been a horrific experience. I'm so sorry you went through that. But unfortunately, as you have mentioned, it is like that, unfortunately, is something that happens quite commonly, in an
Hmm.
unfortunate situation.
Hmm.
So, and I think that also draws to another question about, I guess, boundaries, especially for someone like me who has a fawn response or a survivor that might not, like, I guess, have confidence speaking up or stuff. And even as a massage therapist yourself, what are polite ways or ways that we can assess those boundaries, like if pressure is too hard or if maybe we're uncomfortable with getting a certain area massaged, or even for like on the giving end as a massage therapist, whether they might be uncomfortable performing a specific type of massage.
Hmm. I would say with the type of the massage, you keep educating the client and let them make the decision. You want to give them their freeway, for me at least. I want them to be engaged in their own health and their own healing. Because I tell clients all the time, massage is a temporary reliever. What you do off the table matters too to keep our relationship going and to continue to reap the benefits of massage therapy. So what I've learned about pressure, because they tell you, yeah, the pressure's fine, it's good. I listen to the utterance now. And then when they say good, I'm like, okay, do you want me to say at this pressure? Do you want me to go a little bit more? Do you want me to be a little bit less? How you feeling? And you'd be surprised when I ask that follow-up question. And my sweetie, he told me to do this. Because I have strong hands naturally. Like I have a heavy hand
Mhm.
naturally. And you'd be surprised. A lot of people are like, no, 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 right here. Right here is fine. Or you can go a little bit lower. And that helps the experience. And I say, please, thank you for letting me know because it's a disservice for you and I on the table. You're uncomfortable. And if you're not communicating that to me, I can't fix what you don't tell me. So you always want to make sure that the client isn't engaged in their own treatment. That's something that I've always advocated, even when I was a novice and I had to massage in clinic.
Yes, and I really love how you respond to that, because it also brings up the how having these boundaries is also beneficial on your end as the massage therapist, right? Because
Hmm.
I'm sure you can feel if a client is uncomfortable under your touch,
Yes,
if they're tense and
yes.
they're not relaxing, and
And they're
you want to
squirming
do.
and they're constricting, and yes.
Yes. And so on your end, it actually makes the experience better for both of you if you have this agreement of what is okay or not for the experience at that time. So
Hmm.
I guess for people like me with a phone response, it's basically saying, like, you're helping me help you have a better experience for the both of us. We can both
Exactly.
walk out of here happy.
Exactly.
And so would that even just be things saying like, hey, can you just maybe not use so much pressure, or can we go to
Hmm.
another area, or can I
Hmm.
like leave this article of clothing on, et cetera, et cetera?
Yep. I've had those situations. That's why I said undress to your comfort level.
Mhm.
I had clients, and I said, okay, if you want me to thoroughly work on your back, I'm going to encourage you to remove the bra. I'm not going to say, yep, take the bra. No, for further treatment and longer time, I'm going to encourage you to remove the bra. Everything is about wording and comfortability with clients,
Mm.
especially trauma survivors, whether it's any form of trauma, domestic violence, sexual abuse, car accident. I get it. For a long time, even my near fatal car accident, I was scared to drive in the rain. That's trauma. That's what that somato-emotional release. It's the trauma stored in the body and the emotions that's stored in that. So when you get that type of treatment and you're really not communicating because of whatever situation circumstances, it is still your job as a therapist to make the client feel comfortable and at ease as much as you can. However, I also have to tell this to therapists, your touch may not be aligned with everybody, and you did everything correctly, and you cannot take it personal. And for the first 6 months of my career, I took it personal. And my spa director who was working at the time, Mr. Samuel Huntley, he would tell me, you can't take it personal. As talented as you are, your touch is not going to be aligned with everybody. And sometimes that's a good thing.
Exactly. And sometimes, and I think that's really important to bring up that, yeah, sometimes it's just not the therapist's fault, that sometimes, unfortunately, for a lot of people, especially if it's a first time in massage, they just might not be able to, I guess, like rewire their nervous system to truly feel safe
Mhm.
enough in that environment to receive.
Or even seasoned clients too.
Oh,
They just
seasoned
have,
clients as well. Yeah.
yeah, and they just have their preference. I think the most I've heard is that my touch is too hard. That my deep tissue is a deep tissue. Because that's what I was taught. Like I said, I was very blessed with the massage instructors I had back in New York. When I meant therapeutic, I'm gonna give you therapeutic. When I mean deep tissue, I'm gonna give you deep tissue. Like, and then, but I have to realize sometimes too, like my medium pressure could be somebody else's deep. So I had to. That's why I'm so grateful for that first job I had fresh out of school. I was working at one of the best spas in Manhattan. I learned so much, just scientifically and personally. And he taught me. He sat me down in the office. You cannot take it personal, because if you keep taking it personal, you're not going to last in this field, and you are too talented and too intelligent to not be in this field for a long time. You have to be it in a long time, but this is a key, and this helps you alleviate between being egotistical, because if you keep getting all the compliments, that can turn into arrogance, which he told me, and I get it. And I'm so now I don't take it personal, but however, I am grateful of some of the compliments I received as a therapist. I had one vet, he was barely getting 10 hours of sleep, and he's like, I have now maybe 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and we've done over 12 sessions, and I've been working with him for over a year. I had a client tell me, you brought life back into my dead body. I was dead inside. Those are the compliments you don't forget.
Oh, wow. That truly must have been such a very nurturing experience for both
Yeah.
you and your client to hear
Yeah.
such a very intimate, life changing type of comments. And the way that you've genuinely changed these people on a positive level, I think is just so beautiful. But it
Thank
also,
you.
I guess, feeds further into my next question. So you mentioned that your spa director was a male, and when doing my research on massage therapy, there is a lot of, I guess, controversial or I guess conflicting agreements about the purpose of male massage therapists.
Mhm.
Do you feel that do you feel that massage therapy, like there are benefits to having male massage therapists and the massage therapy industry being mixed gender?
Yes, absolutely. I think males, they kind of can bring more of that athletic performance, that logical reasoning, not so much emotional, and especially if they really love massage therapy. But then there was some realities. I remember my massage professor who was a male, he would tell him like, okay, you're gonna deal with a lot because you're gonna have clients that are females that are skeptical, and then you're gonna have clients that are males that are skeptical. I remember my brother, like, athletic, muscle. He looked at the meal, was like, I don't want you touching me. But you have to be okay with that because that comes with the territory of being a male massage therapist. That's why a lot of them go into other lanes. In addition to massage therapy, they go into occupational therapy, physical therapy. So people can have, more comfortability with them, and then they can make more of an honest living, because that can affect the finances too when you don't have that clientele because of your gender, unfortunately. But things are just unraveling things are changing for the males. They're getting into the other avenues of massage therapy, whether they're owning the business, going behind the scenes of the business as well. So they're
Yes.
needed. Yes, they're I promise you, um after I got my first massage, I let a male massage me for the first time 10 years ago. His name was Roy, and I was a novice. And the way that these women, they adored him. It was like his touch drew them. That's what made me like, that was like the cherry on the sundae for me to go to massage school. And I would say, Roy, like, how do you get clientele in women? And all his clientele was women. He said, I just do it from the heart. And then I'm handsome. I was like, okay, Roy. But seriously, I do it from the heart. That's like another male massage therapist. His name is Eugene, and he had women. All his clients were women. But it was his delivery. It was that comfort level. So however they verbiage and their energy, when I tell you women was like, they were drawn to them. Like they were even buying them lunches. Like it's that kind of thing. Like, yes. Yes. So it just
Yeah.
depends on the male, and then it depends on your authenticity. Because unfortunately, we had a male, I'm not gonna say his name, was unfortunately lost his career, lost his license, violated the massage code of ethics. So it just depends on the male and their sincerity and their authenticity.
Yes, I love, yeah. Definitely, that's so accurate. The reason why I was just asking is because I was watching a documentary on in America where they offer the therapeutic cuddle sessions where you pay like an hour or so just to cuddle with someone for that somatic
Yes,
therapy.
I saw that. Yeah.
And one of the ladies, she specifically goes to male cuddlers because she was a survivor of sexual trauma, and she feels that
Mhm.
having that safety of being around a male touch in a clinical environment is what's helping her be able to form that physical safety with men again. And I was wondering if that kind of correlated over to male massage therapy too.
It makes sense because that teach like you're retraining your subconscious that every male is not the same, or every male is not the male that sexually violated you. You understand what I'm
Yes.
saying? You're training your subconscious with that.
Yes, and that's why I wanted to ask that, because to me, her doing that seemed very beneficial on a somatic point of view.
Hmm.
Obviously, it's a little bit more, I guess, more touch based with the
Extreme and
actual massage.
abstract to a lot of us, but behind the scenes, you will understand why she would do that.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
retraining her subconscious. Yeah.
And so that's why I just wanted to ask whether you feel that when it comes to survivors of sexual trauma who do want to rewire that somatic response, whether going to a male massage therapist would be beneficial for that somatic rewiring.
It can be, but at the end of the day, it's still up to the client. It's still up to that survivor to consciously make a decision. It's like what my favorite female singer, Mary J. Blige, would say: "You have to love like you've never been hurt to find the love that you can deserve." So within that love within yourself, it's like you're retraining the love of yourself, and as you continue to grow with therapy, with counseling, with prayer, changing your dynamic, reviving your relationship with God or whatever you believe in. You understand what I'm saying? Like your faith has to be up there. And like I said, I was very blessed from a child when that situation happened to me. I had my mother and my grandmother and my grandfather was like, "No, you're not going to use this as a crutch. You're still going to do what you're going to do." And the turning point for me, I was 10 years old, 10 turning 11. And my grandfather had three mirrors because I was one of those kids that loved looking in the mirror. So he would call me Nicky Knack. He like, "Nicky Knack, come here." So I'll come in and he told me, "Look in the mirror. It is not your fault. It is not your fault." He kept saying like four times to me, like, and he's right behind me. "It is not your fault. Remember your worth." I'm crying because I could see myself 10-year olds like hearing it. And I burst into tears. That was a cherry on the sundae. That was the cherry on the sundae. But also the downside of that, I was very guarded with guys for a long time. I was very, very guarded. But I'm thankful that my grandfather did that exercise for me. He made me look in the mirror. And that saved me from going through a lot of unnecessary turmoil as well. Yeah,
Yes, and I really, I'm getting teared up just hearing that, because I can tell that that was just such a beautiful moment for you. But I
it
also,
was.
yeah, but I also love how you brought that there is also no shame in using massage therapy, like in a clinical way, on a somatic way, to
Hmm.
help build your relationship with how you receive physical touch. Because as someone
Yes.
who, like me, as a trauma survivor whose love language is physical touch, I guess there's always this like maybe just this misalignment in how people are like, how can you be like so cuddly and want affection when you're a trauma survivor? Like, shouldn't you be touch averse? And I love that you've brought up that there is no shame in like in wanting to receive a type of in therapy that involves that skin connection. I mean, that's what we were born for,
Because
weren't
such is an
we?
innate desire. Like, even though you've been a survivor, touch is an innate desire. Whether it's physical touch, whether it's emotional touch, whether it's mental, it's an innate desire that all of us humankind want. You just have to be mindful of everybody's touch now because of that experience you've been through. And then in my case, I grew up with a very affectionate mother through all of that, who was also a sexual abuse survivor, but still was affectionate to her children. So I never felt like I didn't have, I wasn't without. You understand what I'm saying? So between that, the reinforcement of my parents and my grandparents, and like I said, my grandfather did that mirror exercise. That broke me. And I'm getting like, it's like a mind movie. I can go back to that 10, 11-year-old girl that was looking in that mirror.
Yes, yes. And I love your response to that as well, because I feel that's also really important as well for survivors of sexual trauma is there is nothing wrong about wanting to experience that skin to skin contact in order to feel
Mhm.
nurtured on a somatic level. Because I think definitely there are a lot of, I guess, negative, especially for me, like as someone whose physical touch is my love language. Sometimes I felt like,
Mhm.
I've felt like I've maybe been creepy or crossing boundaries or being perverse, just even asking for a hug. And I feel like that's why I wanted to talk to you, is that there is no shame as a sexual trauma survivor to desire that
Mhm.
skin on skin contact for a healing way.
Mhm. You just have to be mindful of people's energy and then just kind of like read the room. I have friends that I love dearly that don't like the hug. And then I have male friends that I would give a one arm hug because I was dealing with somebody, out of respect for that or out of respect for their counterparts until I met them. And then now I can hug my brother or my male friend and like, there's nothing sexual. It's just that you have to really read the room and respect people's boundaries with that.
Yes, yes, exactly. Boundaries are so important, which moves on to my last question. What advice would you have for someone who is a survivor of trauma, who wants to have a massage for the first time, is interested, feels like they really need it, but they're a little bit hesitant or cautious about the experience?
I would say do your research, talk to a reliable therapist in your area. If they are, in the New York area or in the Virginia area, they can talk to me and I could share my experiences as well. And then it depends on where they're at in their journey in their healing. Some people still have to go through, the therapy, prayer, really come to terms with your trauma because it can easily be a place where you can remain a victim because it's so easy to stay in that place. But it always goes back to your mindset on how you view that situation. Like I was saying, like when we were submitting the form, that experience became my triumph to my career. I'm in a career where I touch people, I net people for a living. But because of that experience, I didn't know where God was going to take me with that. Like I thought just Carrie Bradshaw, Sex in the City, I was going to be a journalist, which I am, but I really thought that was going to be the lane for the rest of my life. But that shows you a man plans his way, but God directs his steps. So I feel like I'm walking into my purpose. So that's why I say it just depends on where people are at in the journey. And then as a professional, I have to meet people where they are because my experience was graphic and then there's people that are just as graphic as mine. Mine was a one-time situation where I had the courage to say something because I was encouraged from my mom to say something. Everybody didn't have that, so you have to really meet people where they are and still give them grace.
Yes, that's beautiful, Grace. I think it's just such an important theme for this episode. And I guess just a final way to end the podcast, obviously, we'll include all of Dominic's information in the bio below. But I always love to end the podcast. I always ask all of my guests this same question. What words of comfort or compassion would you like to say right now to our listeners?
Well, about what massage therapy is. Massage therapy, it is the art of healing through touch with compassion meets connection to nurture the mind, the body, the soul, and the spirit.
Oh, my heart. All right, we'll just end it right there. Thank you so much, Dominic.
You're welcome.